This is the water meter to the house, and that's my reflection. Hi! Inside this water meter, right in here, that dial, over to the left a little bit, you can see it kind of peeking out, that little red sprocket thing. It's called a flow indicator. Some people call them cheater wheels or cheater pedals, but it's very sensitive. And if that guy's moving, then water is moving into the house. So if that guy's moving, something should be on. You should have flushed a commode, dishwasher should be on, somebody should be taking a shower, take your pick. But when any of those activities happen, that little wheel will turn. If that wheel's turning and you can't see anything leaking, not a drippy sink or anything, then you might have a problem someplace that you can't see. You might have a leak there, in a wall or someplace. If your water bill is unusually high, you might want to come out here and look at that little sprocket right in there, that little red guy, that flow indicator. Over here, this is a sewer clean out right by the Parkway sidewalk. But we got doubles over here, I believe. I expect to see some. This is the lawn sprinkler check valve. It's a lawn sprinkler check valve. It's got clearance underneath it. And you're supposed to service these guys. You're supposed to service them every year. Nobody does. You probably won't. But then when you sell the house, I'm going to come back and say it doesn't look like it was serviced. And they're going to say, you didn't service it? This is the main shut-off valve, which you need. These are the isolation valves, which you also need. Coming along, these are the double cleanouts I was expecting to see. And this is kind of interesting. This is the main shut-off valve to the house. Now, this irrigation box should be excavated, hillbilly home inspections, in line with gravel, like the lawn sprinkler valve box was. You can already see that the handle's starting to rust a little bit right there. I'll leave that open. I'm going to take a picture of it later. This is the lawn sprinkler control box. And it's dark. I guess I got a GFCI trip. I did. I tripped it earlier. There's the instructions. The zones are labeled. That's nice. It's supposed to be about plumbing. AC1 is 30 amps. That's correct. AC2 is 40 amps. That's correct. There's your energy notice statement right there. Now, this is interesting. This is called duplicity. You got one there. So, but you don't have a one. You should have a register or something. There's really no duplicity. It just says air conditioning, AC number 1. That's all you know. Also, these guys are supposed to be printed. See, that's hand printed, handwritten. It's supposed to be printed like this. So see, that's what the code says. It's supposed to be printed. We're going to talk about this more when we talk about the... I'm going to have a whole video for this. But this cover won't be on when I do the video, so I'm just kind of putting this right up here for you. Well, while we're here... Alright, there goes my pen. Alright. That's how the manufacturer says to test these things. We're going to try electrically. We're going to try electrically. It's very difficult to get, with these newer switches, it's very difficult to get testing equipment. So you have to rely on the manufacturer's recommendations, which we will. Still not getting any power. Why aren't you on? Off, on? You're not plugged, you're plugged in. We'll look at that later. There we go. That was an exterior GFCI that I tripped when I was looking at the air conditioning systems earlier. And if this guy's tripped, your lawn sprinkler system won't work. Neither will your garage door opener. So if the garage door opener is not working, this is the man right here. Now, we had a main shutoff valve, water shutoff valve in the yard. But we've also got one out here in the garage. I don't usually see duplicates. But there we go. And this is the way it works. And it's with the other valve as well, by the way. Parallel with the pipe is on. Perpendicular to the pipe is off. You can't even close the door. So if you're flooding, the house is flooding, you come out here to the garage and you open this, and you might need a screwdriver. I did. Come right here, and just turn it off, and then you've stopped the, now we can get help. This is the water heater. It's new. I like this. It's the first time I noticed this. One of these. I guess it's from the company, but it says in 2001, in the 9th month of 2021, this thing needs to be flushed, and it does. These things will last a long time and give you a lot of great service if they're maintained. And that includes flushing them. There will be a link to a video showing you how to do that, or you could get a plumber to do it. Plumbers need jobs too. But if you want to keep this little bad boy, you will have it serviced, or service it. There's the data plate right there. I'll get a still image of that as well. Now this is interesting. A couple interesting things. There's this thermostat. The water temperature shouldn't be much over 120 degrees. See that little red tape right up in there? It's there for a reason. So what happened is they just bolted this water heater up, and it works. You can just bolt it up and it'll work. And if your brother-in-law's got an existing home, he wants to upgrade to a tankless water heater, he can bolt one up and it'll work. And he might even save some money, because that's what they're about. That's what they're about, is saving some energy. But what's supposed to happen is we're supposed to get a pressure measurement, the actual pressure to the house, gas pressure. And that's supposed to be dialed in, fine-tuned, if you will. That'll make the water heater more efficient. It's already efficient. I get that. But to make it optimum, then it would the gas valve should be adjusted. Now here's an interesting thing, because I called this out. I called it out yesterday, as a matter of fact. No safety pin under the water heater. But you got one. But it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. So if you're leaking over here, this isn't going to catch anything. It's going to catch your gas. If you're leaking some gas, maybe it won't float out. And then, your cold water supply, but not your hot water's delivery. It doesn't fit right. And another thing, and this is Irving. I know we're in Irving, but in Dallas, but it's also the International Residential Code. The pressure relief valve should have a vacuum breaker, which means it just comes down and it stops and there's air there. And then it continues on, and that vacuum breaker helps water from, I don't know. To be honest, it's a tankless water heater and a conventional water heater for that matter. But somebody decided that was a good idea so that it doesn't cross-pollute and cross-contaminate, and I'm kind of stretching my imagination on how that would happen. But that is a Dallas code, a Dallas requirement, and we are in Irving, but it's also international residential requirement, so you might want to ask the builder about the drain. But with or without the drain and vacuum breaker and so forth, really, it'd be nice. And I don't see how they're going to do that. You got an electrical receptacle right over here, right? Underneath all this water. And there's nothing against that. It's just not real smart. But really the answer, moving this pan would be easy enough, except that you can't. So the answer is probably moving the whole system over 6-8 inches. Kind of interesting dilemma there. I don't know. We can find some way to work around it, I'm sure.